Good morning, I'm Shannon Smith. Certainly feels like the start of fall outside. It officially begins the autumn season tomorrow. And take a look at the leaves right outside our station. They're already beginning to turn, so it looks like fall outside too. So imagine what it's beginning to look like in the North Carolina mountains. Well, Mark Feil runs a website called romanticasheville.com, and every year one of your favorite things to do is kind of document when the leaves are changing. And it begins really this week, doesn't it?
Yes, this is exciting.
Yeah.
And the color is coming a little bit early this year because of all the dry weather and cool nights. So, yep, it's starting now.
And you say the color is expected to be really good this year because of that dry summer we had.
Yes, right now it's looking really good. Leaves love dry weather, you know, that brings out the color. So it should be great. Like I said, it's starting earlier, and we have one of the longest leaf seasons in the country because they will run for like 5 weeks.
Let's take a look at a map because it really depends on the elevation of the mountains as to when it's going to continue to turn. And it really starts with those highest elevations like Mount Mitchell and Grandfather Mountain and then goes from there. Is that right?
Yes, and right now, like the Grandfather Mountain is reporting some great color. Rough Ridge is one of my favorite hikes right there at Grandfather Mountain. Mount Mitchell and down toward the Graveyard Fields is another great place for early fall color. And
then we're looking at the map there, middle of October, as you kind of head midway down the mountain, places like Boone would be great to go see.
Yes, Boone, that's really the sweet spot week for most of the Parkway, because either on the Parkway or views from the Parkway is going to be great in Pisgah National Forest.
And then Asheville's a great place, and just south of Asheville, towards the end of October, it looks like.
Yes, because it's all about elevation and north-south, so if the color will end in the Chimney Rock, Lake Lure area because that's the farthest south and lowest elevation.
All right, let's look at some of the pictures. You say waterfalls are a beautiful place to see in the fall, and you have some pictures of them that I want to run through real quickly, starting with Linville Falls, probably the most popular.
Yes, I mean, that is probably the most photographed waterfall in North Carolina. It's easy to get to.
Pretty.
And there's 5 different viewpoints you can enjoy Linville Falls, and this viewpoint is Plunge Basin, and a lot of visitors overlook that and go to some of the other ones. So.
Crabtree Falls is next, and you say this is for the more adventurous hiker maybe because it's a 3-mile hike to get there, is that right?
Yes, it's a gorgeous hike, so if you love hiking, that's a must.
It's beautiful to see. The next one we have up is Dry Falls, and this one though is roadside, so it's easier for people who don't want to hike as far, but look at that view.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites as a kid because you get to walk behind it. So not only can you park, and it's in Highlands, you can park right by the waterfall, enjoy it from a little observation deck from the parking lot, or take that short trail to the back of the waterfall.
And this is DuPont Falls we're looking at now. It's a little bit of a hike as well if you want to see all 3 of the falls.
Yes, it's an easy hike, so that's good, and that's Triple Falls. And the cool thing about that, you can hike down between the falls, and there's a great spot for picnics on the rocks, and you can hike the 2 other waterfalls real close.
And finally, you say Upper Dill Falls is a great one to see as well?
Yeah, that was kind of tucked away in the National Forest, and Nantahala National Forest, and you can see 2 waterfalls there, and it's a short hike. But like a lot of these, there's no signs, so you kind of have to know where you're going and do some research ahead of time, find these spots. The good thing about it, few people will visit a waterfall like this.
Well, thank you so much for that. The pictures are gorgeous, all taken by him as well, put up on his website. Leaf viewing now in season, something we all look forward to, Brad and Cindy, and Mark's going to stick around and tell us some great spots on the Parkway as well.
You know, the Blue Ridge Parkway truly is one of the most beautiful places in our state, especially this time of year as the leaves start to change. Shannon Smith joins us live with tips on when and where to go see the changing leaves. Shannon, big question every year because people want to hit the peak.
That's exactly right, Brad. But, you know, take a look here in the Piedmont. I just picked these 2 leaves up off the ground. They're already changing. Even here in the Piedmont Triad, the first leaves are starting to change on the trees. And in some of the highest elevations along the Parkway, you're getting peak color this coming up week and into the weekend. Mark Feil always keeps a close eye on this. You run a website called romanticasheville.com, and one of your favorite times of the year is to post on the leaf changings, isn't it?
Yes, I love to get up and see how it changes every week, even every few days it changes.
And you say up at Grandfather Mountain, Mount Mitchell, some of those highest peaks, you'll begin to see peak color in the next week.
Yes, I'm heading up to near Grandfather Mountain in the morning to check it out.
All right, so let's take a look at your favorite places is your recommended places along the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina, beginning with the Lynn Cove Viaduct. Just a marvel of engineering to see along the mountain there.
Yes, and everyone, I mean, since I was a kid when it opened, it's just a joy to drive across it. And as soon as you get on the parkway, it's like your blood pressure drops.
Yeah.
And that's just one area you just feel like you're kind of gliding through the air. And you can stop at the viaduct at the visitor center and actually walk underneath it, which is kind of a cool thing to do.
And that's such a gorgeous shot to see there. The next is Orchard at Alta Pass. Tell me a little bit about this spot along the parkway.
This is one of those spots a lot of people drive by. They really don't know what it is, but it's an apple orchard, and they have like 15 varieties of apples, so you can go pick your own apples. But then they have hay rides, they have mountain music, they have fudge and homemade jams. It's just a really cool place to stop. Great mountain views from it too.
What town is it near along the parkway?
It's south of Blowing Rock, so kind of near Little Switzerland.
Very cool. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is Mount Mitchell, which is going to begin to peak in the next week or so. Why is that you like Mount Mitchell so much?
Well, you can drive to the top. Everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's the highest peak east of the Mississippi, so it's fun to go to the top of the observation deck and see the views, and it changes continuously. While the top of the mountain, you know, the leaves will be peak in the next week or so, the views from the observation deck way down into the valleys, they'll last for weeks.
Okay, and the next spot is Graveyard Fields. This sounds spooky for October.
I love that name, but it's a great place to hike. It's a mile-high meadow, so you can enjoy it from the overlooks. You know, there's tons of overlooks along the parkway. You can stop, so you can enjoy it from the overlooks, or you can walk like from that overlook. Just a third of a mile walk is a beautiful waterfall.
And then finally, Devil's Courthouse. Again, sounding spooky for October.
I know, I have a theme going on here.
What is the story with this? What's it near, and what do you like to see from there? Well, look at that view.
Yes, it's south below Graveyard Fields, which is below Mount Pisgah and Pisgah Inn, which a lot of folks know. And this is it's a hike, but it's a short hike, but the views from the top are just amazing.
Well, great. Well, the pictures are gorgeous. You can see much more and get many more tips on Mark's website, romanticasheville.com. He keeps you updated on when to see everything. He has some tips, Brad, that if you want to go up and view the mountains in October, maybe stay a night, things that you need to know in order to get the best looks at everything, and that's coming up just a bit after 8:30.
You know, he's really picked some of the great spots. When you look at the ones he just suggested for the, for the parkway there, they are some of those great picturesque picture moments.
It is.
So, Shannon, thanks very much.
More like fall outside. The new season officially does start tomorrow, and many people will be heading to the mountains to see all the beautiful changing leaves. Shannon Smith is outside right now. She's learning where we should go and when. Hey.
Good morning, Cindy. It feels like fall, like you said, outside, cool breeze blowing. If you look at the trees, even here in the Piedmont Triad, the first ones are beginning to change color. So imagine what it must look like at those highest elevations in North Carolina, like Mount Mitchell and Grandfather Mountain. They'll begin their peak in the next week or so. And Mark Fowle keeps a close eye on it for his website, romanticasheville.com. Good morning.
Good morning.
You say leaf viewing should be great this year because of the dry summer?
Yes, looking good so far, because the leaves love the dry weather. It brings out great color.
And so it just is beginning to get cool here, but we have some pictures to show over the last couple of Octobers. It's gotten really cold in the mountains to begin snow on the leaves as they change colors. Tell me about these pictures as we look at them, like that one right there.
Well, the mountains are beautiful no matter what weather. So this is on the parkway. Occasionally we'll get an early snow that will come into late October, early November, and there'll be kind of a meeting of the winter and fall together.
Let's just keep scrolling through the pictures, if you could, in the control room as we talk about them. And so you just get on the parkway and you'll catch a view like this on a frosty morning or a little light dusting of a morning, right?
It's magical because you'll be driving and it's, nothing at all, and you round a bend and then you'll see all these snow and ice covered trees.
What about that? You really get the feel for the color and the snow in that picture.
Yeah, that's Vance's birthplace. It's a state historic site right outside of Asheville, so it's a beautiful place to visit all year.
And Asheville, or south of Asheville, probably one of the last places that'll hit peak towards the end of October, you were saying?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, and especially, like I said, down toward Chimney Rock. Last year was very odd to have, this was last year on November 1st, so very odd to have a that much snow early in the season.
Let's give a couple of tips that you have if you want to go visit the leaves of North Carolina in the mountains in November. Make your room reservations now because it really does book up from people all over the country wanting to see these views.
Yes, people do travel here because we have one of the longest running shows. Yeah, make your reservations and just do some research ahead of time to kind of pick out some places to go. We have so many national forests and the Parkway, which is great, but a lot of places are hidden, so find them. Yeah, and travel during the week so you won't have all those crowds on the weekends.
Right, and keep an eye on the weather forecast because if it's completely low cloud cover over the mountains, you're not going to see much. Take a jacket, because even if it's warm down here, it's not up there always, right?
Yes, and the weather changes, so you could be, sucked into clouds and then just go a mile down the road and be beautiful sun. So don't despair.
Mark, thanks so much. Keep us updated. I know you're heading up to the mountains. Let us know how the Grandfather Mountain's looking when you head up there. We'll show some of his pictures maybe periodically through the next month or so. And Cindy, one of his best pieces of advice when you're on the Parkway, drive slowly, take it all in. Don't get frustrated if somebody's driving slowly in front of you either. Don't be in a hurry when you're in the mountains this time of the year. There's so much to see.
And to add one more thing to that, roll down the windows.
Yeah.
Because the smell of fall is like nothing other. Thanks, Shannon.
Absolutely. Sure.
Hey, for a look at more tips from Mark, check out his website and a list of his recommended leaf viewing locations on the morning page of our website, myfox